Hello and welcome to Krista So Crafty. I'm Krista, and today we're going to be continuing on with the Cricut Design Space Beginner series. So now we're going to talk about the text feature. This is probably going to be one of the most used buttons you're going to use between that and images in Cricut Design Space. So let's click on the T. This is the text feature, and now we're just going to write some words. So happy birthday. Let's just do that. Once you've done that, when you type your words, you'll notice that they're all together in one box. This is what you want. This is going to allow you to now go and do different edits to it to make it exactly how you want it be viewed. So typically one of the first things people want to do is to change the font. Right here on the left, you'll see that there's a drop-down menu. If you click on that arrow, it opens up all the different fonts. If the word all is selected, it's going to show green, and that's going to show you all the fonts that are on your system, and that's going to show you all the Cricut fonts. So for myself, I'm a Cricut subscriber, so everything that has a green A means I can use without having to pay extra for it. If you're not a Cricut Design subscriber, then you need to be careful when you come in here and just choose all, because if you don't have the subscription, it's going to want you to try to pay for it. So you can click on System. What the system is everything that's on your computer. So you know when you bought your computer or your laptop or your iPad or whatever it is you're using, it has a certain number of fonts that are on there. So those are going to show up in here under System. What else is going to show up on here is if you were to have gone and purchased a font from Design Bundles or, I don't know, all the different defont.com, those type things, that's where you're going to find all those fonts as well. They're going to be under your System Font section. If you click on the word Cricut, now these are strictly Cricut fonts that if you're a subscriber, you can use without any further fees. Okay, you'll see that now over here there's a section called Only Kerned Fonts, or a green box with a check mark. So what that means is when you type out a word, for example, if I were to take this and change this font to a script font, typically when you write with script, you want all the letters connected together. So see how these are kind of joined together? That's what the kerned fonts means. If I were to remove that and now choose a script font that, I don't know, it might be hard for me to try to find one, but there you go. So basically what it is the letters are not joined together. So then you would have to go and manually, sorry, I'm just trying to get this in screen here. You would manually have to go in and connect the Y to the A, to the D, to the H. And that's where the kerned fonts comes in. Now, it doesn't mean you can't use this. If you like this font, absolutely. The only thing you will need to do is to ungroup it up here on the top right. And now every letter is separate, okay? So I can click on each letter individually. And so then now I would have to take my letter and move it over and connect it up with that letter A. Same as with the D, I'd have to move it over. I want to give you a little tip here. Some of the keyboard shortcuts that I use are from using Microsoft Office products. And so I'm just used to doing these, and I never thought about it when I started using Cricut Design Space, but a lot of those features you can use in here. So for example, if you click and hold down on the Shift button on your keyboard and then click on your letter, you can move it over and it keeps it in line with your font. So it's not going to be getting all messy all over the place. So like this here, see how I can just move it, and if I move it out of line, right, it can cause some problems. So if I hold down my Shift key and then move that letter over, I can't see how it's kind of jumpy. That's because I'm holding the Shift key down. So it's holding it in line. This will help keep everything in line. So then you can just move these over and get everything all lined up the way you want. And then the same goes for this. Now, you want to make sure you let go of the Shift button in between so that you're not selecting more than one letter at a time. So I'm just going to finish this up real quick. And then at this point in time, then you would go through, hold on, I need to move this over here. There we go. Then you would need to go through and select everything and weld them together because you don't want them all to cut out separately, and that we'll get into in a different video. But anyways, I just wanted to show you that. So I'm just going to move those out of the way. Might as well just delete them, and I will just write some new text. Hello, so we can go through some more of these features. So going back into the font, so there's a lot of different fonts in here. So I'm just going to click on only current fonts so that I don't have any to worry about anything. They're all going to be connected for me, and it's one less thing I have to do. The other thing that's in here is filters. If you click on filters, you can choose different items. Let's say you wanted to do a card, a birthday card, and you wanted your Cricut to write on it for you. You would click on this one here, the writing, so that only these fonts that show up are going to be able to be written, and they're not going to show up as little fat bubble kind of things. Okay, now I'm just going to change it to that font. Wow, maybe not, that's pretty crazy. How about just that one? Just something simple. Wow, that's huge. So as you can see, you are able to resize your items. So when this font came through, it's huge. If you look up here at the size, the width is 24.827 inches. I have my system set to inches, and I will show you how to change that if you need it to be changed. You can go up here and either change the size by clicking on the arrow down or the up arrow, either way, or you can highlight that stuff in there, type in a number, and then press enter on your keyboard, and it will change the size of that font for you a little bit quicker. So before I forget, I'm going to go and show you how to change this from inches to centimeters. I think it's centimeters. The three lines up at the top left, you're going to click on that, and you're going to go to settings. When you're in here, you'll see there's some different options. You can change the language of your program. You can change how it saves. You can save to your cloud and your computer, or to the cloud only. If you don't have a lot of memory on your computer, absolutely do the cloud only. But a lot of times I do the cloud and computer because if the internet's down, your images and your projects and everything are saved on the cloud, you're not going to be able to access them. But if you have it on the computer, then you can still access them. You can also change your canvas grid. You can change it from a full grid, a partial grid, or no grid. And here is the one I was saying. You can either change it from imperial to metric. So if I click on metric and click done, now everything is going to be changed. So my lines across the top, this here is now going to be in metric, not imperial. So I'm old school and I still like dealing with stuff in inches, so I'm going to put it back to that. You do what you want to do, but this is what I'm going to do. So that was the different font that you can choose. Now, if you ever come in here and you wonder, well, where's all my options? You actually have to click on the word first before all your different options come up. So we've talked about the font, the style. There's different ways, same as in like a Word program. There's regular, there's bold italic, or there's italic. Okay, so then these will just, you click on it and it will just change it for you. So you can do any of those. You can click on here and change your font size. up and down arrows. You can also grab the bottom right hand corner of the text box and change it this way. So you can use your grid and help to line it up. You can also change the letter spacing, okay? So if you want your letters closer together, press down on the down arrow. If you want them further apart, click on the up arrow. And again, both of these spaces you are able to type in, okay? So 0.5 and then press enter, or whatever you want, right? The line spacing, so I've only got one word here, so let's go hello world. Okay, so here I have two lines now. The word hello is on one line, the word world is on another line. Again, I can go and click on the down arrow to reduce the amount of space that is between the words, or I can type. Now, when you're talking about the line space, if you want them closer together, you have to put the minus sign in front of your number. So I'm going to put -5 and go enter on my keyboard, and it jumps closer. I can go -10 and they'll go even closer. Or like I said, you can use the up-down arrows. Okay, so that's that. Alignment, if you click on the drop-down arrow, that allows you to align left, align center, or align to the right, whatever you choose. Now, the curve feature is something that has to be done before you make certain changes. So for me to be able to use this, see I have this selected, but I can't do anything with it, I will have to start over with my words because I did some stuff to it that now I can't use the curve feature. So I'm just going to delete that and type hello. So here's my word. Now, because I've just gone in there and I haven't messed with a bunch of other stuff, I am now able to go and click on the curve and use this to curve my text. So I can move to the left and it curves it up, move to the right and it'll curve it down. Again, there's numbers, a spot over here on the right where you can type in a number and it will press enter and it will curve it to that number for you. Whatever, I'm just going to leave it like that. So that's that. The next feature is called advanced. If you click on that drop down, depending on what you have. So right now I have one word on one line. So the only feature that's available to me is to ungroup to letters. So if I click on ungroup to letters, now these are all separate. I can just align them however I want to align them. Now I want to give you a word of caution because as soon as you ungroup them, even if you were to either group them back together or weld them together, which again we'll get into, then if I click on the word, see how I'm now missing a whole bunch of my menu, my little bars that was up there? Because as soon as you do that, it takes it and changes it to like an image, I guess, if you want to call it. So it's no longer a font, so to speak, that you can edit and change. It is only like an image now. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So again, I'll just move that down out of the way and type my word again. So now I have my bar back and all my options. So we'll continue on. So I'm just going to delete that one. If we go back now, we've gone through this whole bottom row. Let's go up to the top row. The two arrows here, these are your undo and redo. So this will undo your last edit, whatever you've done to it, and this will redo it. So if you, let's say you wanted to go back 3 or 4 times because you like the font that you had before, but then you clicked on the font 3 different times. So let's say we want this font, or we tried that font, and then we tried this font. And you're like, oh, you know, I really like that other one. I really like that last one, but you can't remember what it's called. Click on your arrow and it will undo it. Or redo it if that's the case. So I really like this one, so let's keep it on this one. The next little area is called Operation. If you click on that drop down arrow, it gives you lots of different functions. So there's a cut section, a draw section, and then a print then cut section. I'm not going to go through every single one of these just because it's going to take way too long, but don't be scared to come in here and check them out. Basically, if you're going to be cutting the word hello in vinyl, you want to make sure it's on a basic cut or a wavy or whichever. If you want to print then cut, you need to make sure you change it to standard so that this will now print it on your home printer. Then you put that paper onto your mat and then put it into the Cricut and it will cut it out for you. Okay, so I'm just going to make that a little bit bigger. This little black square right here, if you click on that, that's going to give you your color options. So if you wanted to, for example, let's ungroup these to different letters, or so that they're individual letters. And then what I'm going to do is, let's say I want to cut these out of all different colors of vinyl. Okay, I can now go through and color them with the colors that I'm going to actually use. And then when I go to cut it, the Cricut knows that these are all going to be different colors, so we will put them on different mats so I can cut them out. Okay, so that's kind of a fun feature. Now, of course, I've done an edit to it, so I have to start over again with my Word. So the next thing is to deselect. If you want to deselect something, you don't have to click on the button. You can just click away. Same as the select all. You can either click on this, or if you want to select this whole word, if it's not been separated yet, you can just click on it, and now I've got it all. The next thing is the edit feature. You can cut or copy. And once you cut or copy, then the third option, which is paste, will be available. When you want to cut something, you can either go up to edit and click cut, or you do a Control X on your keyboard and that will cut it for you. So if I have this selected, I can go on my keyboard and go Control X and it will cut it. Now I can up to the edit feature and I can go paste. I can either go edit and paste, or I can go Control V, which is paste. So these are more keyboard shortcuts that you can use on your Cricut. Now, this is a new feature just as last year, offset. Before you would have to do it manually, but now there's a button. So what I like to do before I click on the offset feature is I like to move my word down so that when I click on offset and this box comes up, I can see the choice or the feature, the way it's going to be put onto my word. So an offset basically is what is going to go behind the word or the picture to make it pop. And I'll show you that in just a second. So as soon as you click offset, it comes into this box and now you'll see that there are blue lines around. So that's telling me or showing me where the offset would be. You can change the size of that simply by moving the black dot to the left, which will reduce it, or to the right, which will make it thicker. Again, there's a feature here where you can type 0.3. I want to make it smaller. Okay, and then once you have it the way you want it, you're just going to click apply. So now, I'm just going to move this up now again. Now what we have is our word and an offset behind. So this allows us to, for example, I could change the color of the offset to a white and change this, the color of the font, to a red. And then when we put them together, it's gonna pop, okay? It's just gonna pop. I don't know how else to say it. Now, if you wanted to change that up a bit, you can go and just tweak it a little bit more, just so that there's not a bunch of little spaces in there. click OK, and now I have an offset on an offset. So you can do multiples on this, right? Like, wouldn't that be cool on a shirt or something, right? And of course, you center it all up and everything, which I will show you how to do in a few minutes. So I'm going to just delete those for now. Then we have the flip. Basically, it's going to flip it horizontally, or it's going to flip it vertically. And then back again. And again, we've used the size feature. Now, you'll notice that there's a little padlock here, and on the bottom left-hand corner, there's a padlock here. If I click on that, it unlocks it. So this now gives me the ability to change the font width and height to different sizes rather than keeping it in proportion. So I could change this to 5 by 12 and get a really skewed look, right? Or by 6. Okay? Or once it's unlocked, I can go down to the bottom right-hand corner and click on the four-headed arrow and change this like that. So there's multiple different ways of doing things. Okay, so that's that. Then we have our rotate function. I can click on the up arrow and rotate it one way, rotate it the other way, or the same thing, I can, if I want it to rotate 9 degrees, I can type 9. If I want to change it, make it so it goes the opposite way, I'm going to go -9, and then it changes it to the opposite. Then we have our position. Moves to the left, moves to the right, moves up and down, okay? Or you can just move it like this. So that's basically all the different features that comes with the text function and all the different options that come with it. I really hope that that was helpful and that you are able to utilize a bunch more of the options that are in Cricut Design Space. Thank you, and you have a great day.
Thank you once again for joining me here on my channel, Krista So Crafty. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please feel free to give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't already, click that subscribe button. And if you want to see more content like this, feel free to click on the bell and you'll receive notification when I upload my next video. Thank you again and happy crafting.